fall is coming, it's starting to cool off, which means this is a great time to start working with horses because it's not quite so hot. I don't know about you, but I prefer not to work with horses when it's in the 90s and has humidity so high that you can take a shower on Monday and don't dry off for a week. So I'll be working with the horses a lot. First thing, of course, you need to be able to catch your horse. If you haven't seen my last video, that was what I talked about in that video, catching your horse. It's kind of hard to work them. You can't even catch them. So I'm in my round pen. There's some people that use a lunge line. I cannot use a lunge line. Plain and simple. With my Meniere's disease, if I try using a lunge line, in a very short period of time, I'm living up to my name of busy. So I use a round pen. My round pen is key to me. The fence posts, they're all broken fence posts. I just recycled them. I bought the rope, it's less than $20. Just use a piece of rope at the entrance. I have through eyes either side of the post that makes the gate. One to tie the rope to on the one side and the other so that I can hook my quote-unquote gate to. And this protects the snap. Got the ring on the one side, snap on the other. Cost me less than $100. Of course, if you're really cheap, you could probably make it for nothing. If you had the broken fence post and feed round bales, or know somebody that does, use baling twine. You don't even have to have the ties. Just tie baling twine across when you're working with the horses. You've got a round pen that costs you nothing. If you want to go more fancy, they have ones that are pre-made. You can build them. I saw one, and I will admit it had me shaking my head that it had solid sides for that high up. The whole idea of that was to keep the horse completely focused on you and it couldn't see out. Well, the problem with that is your horse is going to be more easily distracted once it's out of the round pen. I'd rather have the round pen where they can see out of. I've had horses come up to the round pen. I've had people come up to the round pen. That makes a distraction for them, but they need to learn to focus on me, not on what's around them. And if I wait until they're not in the round pen to try to get them to focus on me, that can be a lot harder. Now, you do not have to have a round pen. You may just be able to use part of the field, but the problem with that is the horses can get stuck in the corners. With a round pen, there's no corner. There's no place for it to get stuck. Depending on your skill level, the condition you get it into, you may not be able to get them out of that corner easily. So that's why you have the round pen. If you are at a place where they will not let you build a round pen, and they do not have one, get someone to step in post. You just make a circle with them and put rope up. Once you're done working with the horse, you take it all down, no more round pen. And I don't know how much the step in posts are now. Last time I checked, they were like $4 or $5. So that is one way you can go. Something to think about. Now, you are going to need certain tools when you're in the round pen. The first thing you're going to need is a way to move the horse. Some people will use your lunge line. I have to admit, I'm not a fan of using one of these in a round pen. The reason why? It's harder to get the right amount of pressure on the horse. You're not out here to try to scare the horse. You're trying to get the horse to listen to you. What I prefer, horseman's foot lead rope. This one I will admit I bought from a big name trainer. You don't have to buy one. You can go to any hardware store. You can get the rope that you need. And what you're going to do is you will basically be holding it in one hand, tossing it with the other hand. If you're ambidextrous enough, depending on which way the horse is going, you can switch it from side to side. You are not aiming for the horse's body. You're aiming for the feet. And you're going to have what we call the ask, tell. You're going to tell him once what you want him to do. Walk. Horse doesn't do it. You're going to say it a little bit louder and maybe swing the rope. Walk. They still don't do it. Walk. And you're going to be swinging the rope at him. And If you have a horse that's really difficult to move, you might need more pressure than that. I have seen horses where you basically have to get behind them. In fact, Lickers, if I wanted to go faster than a trot, I have to get behind her and basically be driving her. And once they get to where they know that you really mean business, yeah, they're going to start listening. Now, one thing you want to take into consideration is the horse's body speed. Just like you don't like somebody coming up close to you and getting into your space and you want to get away from them, horse is the same way. Horse has approximately 20 foot of body space. So when I build my round pen, I build it at 60 foot. With that 60 foot, I'm not right on top of my horse. They still have room to move around without me being on top of them. Smaller, they're going to feel more crowded, and they might be more difficult to work with. Not only that, that smaller space can mean that it's harder on your joints, especially if you have a bigger horse. You know, my horses are fairly small, but if you get in here with like a Belgian or a Clydesdale or something like that, that can be really difficult on them. It's the same thought, a bigger round pen like 70 foot, you can lose that connection to the horse. So you're going to have to figure out what works best for you. So that's moving the horse. Now, another thing that comes in handy. You're not going to see probably anybody tell you this. Muck bucket and manure fork. Very simple. Your horse has to go to the bathroom. I always let them stop when they do that, so it's in one spot. They leave themselves. Now you get them to go trying to work with them. They don't want to step where the manure was. They go around it. So what I simply do is when I'm giving them a pause, I grab the manure bucket, I walk over to where they've done their business, and I clean it up. It's out of the way, and they no longer have that excuse. Plus, since they're not walking slow, it makes it easier to clean the hooks out. You're going to want to work rope harder and a lead of some sort. Some people will just use a 14-foot lead that you're using for moving the horses. I prefer a regular lead. It's much easier to work with. You don't have to tie it in. The reason for the rope holder is simple. Think about this for a minute. If you were to wear a backpack, which would you rather have? Bailing twine over your shoulders or a nice, wide, thick, padded strap? Well, that nice, thick, padded strap is going to be more comfortable. Whereas if you have bailing twine, it's going to be putting more pressure on the shoulder, and you're going to want to get away from the pressure. And that's how it is with the rope holder. People will tell you that the knots are in a certain spot because that puts more pressure on it. No, the ropes are at that spot because that's where it needs to be to make the rope holder. Some people will have knots over the top. I don't like that design. I think it's adding too much pressure. Just a simple rope holder is fine. The last thing you're going to want, a clock of some sort. Whether it's a wristwatch, whether it's a timer, whether it's time on your phone, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a way to keep time. Horses have an attention span of about 20 minutes, especially when you're first starting working with them. So you want to be able to keep within that time frame when you're first starting to work with them. Otherwise, they can start getting really pissy. And you don't want that. And if you're having trouble getting the horse to do what you want it to do, and you're getting close to that 20-minute mark, stop working what you're working on, take a step back, and work on something instead that they've already mastered. And that way, when you end, you're ending on a good note, and it'll be easier on you the next time you get into the round pen. So, my next video, we will actually be in the round pen. Probably with Misty because she's the one that's been giving me the most attitude lately. Hope you learned something. Hope to see you in the next video and have a nice day.